In this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, the Resurrection F arc is in full swing, and the greatest hero in the Dragon Ball universe finally returns. The Great Saiyaman! Come on, you guys know that you got goosebumps when you saw Gohan transform into the Great Saiyaman. This week's episode of DBS shows us Goku's greatest weakness, his impatience. And that's pretty much the bulk of this plot this week, because Goku figures out that Vegeta has been missing for about 6 months while he's been training with Beerus and Whis. And naturally, Goku is really antsy in the pantsy and he really wants to go train with Vegeta, so he spends most of the episode waiting for a phone call from Bulma so that he can go to her place, intercept her and Whis, and beg for his help. The scene is very funny because, of course, we get to see a side of Whis that we've never seen before, him getting very frustrated, because all he wants to do is just have a normal meal with Bulma. Simple as that. But Goku just continuously wants to go to Beerus' planet and keeps egging him on, and it actually is pretty damn funny. But the biggest plot point from this episode, of course, is that Chi-Chi is continuing to be something of a... oh, what's the word for it? A bitch? Chi-Chi's evolution in the series is something that has always annoyed me, because at the beginning of the show, she was this hard-ass. I mean, she wore a freaking helmet with a blade on it that could shoot a laser and kill dinosaurs, and somewhere down the line, she just sort of turned into this hardcore Stepford wife. And even though she does annoy me, I still think she's a very enduring character. In fact, I loved when she saw the Great Saiyaman and Grandpa Satan playing with Baby Pan as they were tossing her up into the air while having a little martial arts sparring match. She got pretty damn pissed off when she saw that, but I love that when she grabbed Pan back, she did this really cool like martial arts flip back onto the table. She still has the skills to pay the bills, and if they wanted to do something cool with Chi-Chi, Dragon Ball Super is the perfect place to do it. But we're not going to get there quite yet, because this episode is really just a big setup for the Resurrection F arc. And you can definitely see that all over the character designs, especially if you've already seen that movie. Bulma is already looking exactly the way she does in that version of the film. Krillin is even a police officer. They sort of replicate that scene from the movie, but they changed things up a bit, and I'm not sure if it was for the best. Because in the original movie version, you have these two robbers who are running away on this, like, hover scooter type thing, and they get chased down by Krillin, who doesn't quite catch up to him in his weird, like, floating cop thing. He actually jumps ahead and stops them with just his bare hands, and then punches and kicks both of them, taking them out. In this chase scene, Bulma gets involved because apparently her car gets hurt, and she's the one who actually ends up derailing them off the road as they slam into a tree. The main reason that they probably altered this scene is because in the movie version, we haven't seen Krillin in a long time, and this was sort of a great way to reintroduce him to the audience. Whereas in Dragon Ball Super, we've seen him in here since like the first couple of episodes, so it's not really that much of a surprise. It is cool, however, that he is a cop. I always thought that was really cool that he's in some ways sort of taking advantage of his power. It sort of secures his position, but he should have done something a little more elaborate, like that one episode where Yamcha became a baseball player. I would become an NFL player if I had those powers. And so, after lots of comedy and watching Goku impatiently look at a phone, the episode ends with him hitching a ride with Whis as they head to his planet getting ready to train. The preview for the next episode firmly establishes that Resurrection F is definitely going to start because we get views of Tagoma and Sorbet, who I'm assuming are talking about resurrecting Frieza right there. And we also get our very first shots of Champa and his attendant. This is going to be one of the biggest things for the Dragon Ball Super anime, because in the manga version, these characters have popped up really early, and this will be the first time they've made their first official appearances in the series. So I can't wait to see what their voices are going to be like. I've always been trying to imagine what they're going to be like. And then you also got Goku and Vegeta training on Beerus' planet, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, because it looks like Goku and Vegeta are going to be sparring with one another, and the animation looks pretty cool too, so I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with that. Just a lot of cool new things, and that's the other thing that's cool about this arc right here, is because unlike the movie version, we're actually getting to see how Goku and Vegeta began their training with Beerus and Whis, whereas in that movie, it's just sort of implied that they've been there for a long time. So this is really expanding on the movie quite a bit, and I have to admit, I am enjoying it. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? A very lighthearted, very fun episode, which is just a build-up to Goku's training, but there are some important details in this episode. First and foremost, Pan is officially returned to the series, except now that she's a cute little baby. Those scenes at the beginning were very nice and heartwarming, and it was just really cool to see all of these characters come together and act like a family unit. Especially Grandpa Satan. You know, Mr. Satan's a really doofy, stupid, derpy character, but he's a good family man, and he really shows that in this episode, and he seems like he's bonded a lot with Gohan, which I just always assumed he was going to hate these characters, but no, Mr. Satan's actually quite friendly and can seem to make friends with just about anyone. He's just a really crappy martial artist. I even like that one scene when they were hanging out at the table and he had this like awesome martial arts proverb, which is like, a skilled hawk never shows its talent in a martial arts battle. Krillin thought that was really cheesy. I thought it sounded pretty cool. All the other stuff, though, in the episode was basically just Goku hanging out, looking at this phone that Bulma gave him, because she told him, look, Whis is not here yet. When he gets here, I'll call you. And there's a lot of scenes where he just bum rushes her when she's at work or when she's just hanging out at her house, and it is really funny. And it's always great to see Goku and Bulma hanging out, because they were like the stars of the original Dragon Ball manga, and they have such a strong friendship, and they play off each other in such a really funny way. It definitely gives me like all these old school memories of Dragon Ball, and I really appreciated that they did that in this episode. Also, is it not insane that Vegeta has been training for 6 months? That is nuts. Either he's way ahead of Goku at this point, or he's now, like, officially on par with him. There's a scene where Whis is mentioning something around those lines, where now is kind of like the perfect time for Goku to go train with Vegeta. Maybe that is because they are finally on equal terms for the first time in the series. Maybe Vegeta's much stronger. I think that would be really interesting to see, because then Goku's going to be, like, on the other side this time. Although, I believe his reactions to it are going to be a little different. It's also cool in the preview we get to see that they are going to have their brand new uniforms, so that's really cool. Just it sort of just mixes things up a little bit. As much as I love Goku's classic uniform, it is good that they have different ones almost every other arc. It just makes him seem a little more distinctive. So, good, fun episode of Dragon Ball Super. Lots of laughs, lots of heartwarming family moments, and of course Goku getting ready to go to train. So this is an important episode. I really liked it, and I thought it was really great because of the characters and the humor. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. As far as animation goes, really nothing to write home about, but everything looked pretty clean and consistent for the most part. And lots of great expressions from the characters, in particular Bulma and Chi-Chi. They are really funny characters. So like I said, 4 out of 5 for me. Check it out, Dragon Ball fans. You might see something you like. But if you did watch this week's episode, please tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Now, do you think that Vegeta's been at Beerus' planet for 6 months? That he's stronger with Goku? Is he on par with him? Is there something that Goku doesn't quite know about this training? And what do you guys want to see from the Resurrection of F arc? What kind of changes do you want them to make? And what do you want to see from the rest of Dragon Ball Super? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, my Star Wars video series, and our weekly podcast. It's pretty freaking awesome. Make sure to share that with your buddies. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy.